Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Whitman and I am the Director of Assessment and Accountability here at the State Department of Education. As we return to school this fall, health concerns related to COVID-19 will likely change many things about you and your students' day-to-day experience. In this vignette, I will be discussing some assessment considerations with that in mind. There are several assessments that you may need to administer during the first few months of the school year. They are the Fall Idaho Reading Indicator, or IRI, the ISAT Interim Assessments, the SAT School Day, the PSAT School Day, and the Screener for English Learners. Let's start with some general considerations that would apply to any assessment. For all of the assessments, you may need additional space, such as more rooms or larger rooms, to accommodate social distancing. As you plan your assessment calendar, think about the physical locations you will need to use to ensure that all students can safely participate. In addition to requiring more space, you may also need more time to administer these assessments than in previous years. As you plan out your test schedule, leave adequate time for completing the test and cleaning between groups. Depending on your schedule and test setup, you may need additional trained personnel to administer these assessments. Before any staff member administers an assessment, make sure they've completed the appropriate training. Look at the administration guidance for each assessment for specific details. With those general principles in mind, let's move on to some specific considerations for each of the fall assessments that may provide you with additional flexibility. At the start of the year, schools must administer the Idaho Reading Indicator, or IRI, to all students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. If your students are physically in school full-time or attending school on a staggered schedule, you may be able to use the standard assessment with the kinds of adjustments we already discussed. However, LEAs also have the option to activate the remote administration of the fall IRI. To do so, district test coordinators would contact support@istation.com and include coordinator Elena Knopp on the email. The remote administration would become available within 3 to 5 days. Starting on August 24th and running through March 10th, students have the opportunity to participate in the ISAT Interim Assessments for ELA literacy, math, and science. These assessments are optional, but can provide students and teachers with valuable information about student progress towards learning goals. Students can participate in several types of interim assessments. There are comprehensive interims that cover the full range of learning targets. These are similar to the summative end-of-year assessments. There are also new, streamlined interim comprehensive assessments that only include the computer adaptive portion of the test and are all machine scored, which results in quick turnaround. These were set up to address your specific needs this year. There are also interim blocks that cover 3 to 8 targets and focused interim blocks that cover 1 to 3 targets. Teachers can also use interim items or test questions as part of a class lesson with groups of students. You may find the information from the interim assessments particularly useful this fall because the spring summative ISAT assessments were canceled last year. So the ISAT performance data you would normally have for your incoming class is not available. As in the past, you can continue to administer the ISAT interims using the secure browser or test application. In addition, to provide flexibility, we have again configured the interim assessments to allow for remote administration. Last spring's administration of the SAT School Day to juniors, the class of 2021, was canceled due to COVID-19. We have rescheduled that SAT School Day administration for this fall. There is no remote administration option for the SAT. However, we have added additional testing dates this year to maximize flexibility. Schools can register to participate in the SAT School Day on September 23rd, October 14th, and October 27th. However, the October 27th date is a makeup date, so note that any students who miss that test day do not have a makeup day option. The state also provides a PSAT school day administration in the fall. Sophomores, the class of 2023, can participate in this assessment. As with the SAT, there is no remote administration option for the PSAT. We have again added additional testing dates this year to maximize flexibility. Schools can register to participate in the PSAT school day on October 14th or October 17th and October 29th. Throughout the school year, schools screen potential English learners newly enrolled in Idaho schools. Kindergarten students and first semester students in grade 1 use a paper pencil screener called the Kindergarten WAPT, or K-WAPT. Students in second semester of grade 1 through 12th grade have access to an online WIDA screener. However, they can also use a paper pencil WIDA screener if necessary to accommodate a specific student need. You can continue to use these screeners as needed this fall and may benefit from the spacing, timing, and personnel considerations discussed earlier. When thinking about timing and scheduling adjustments, one important thing to remember is that all students must be screened within 30 days of enrollment to determine English language support services eligibility. If schools are closed to in-person learning for an extended period of time, Idaho has developed a process to pre-identify students for English language support services. This WIDA remote screener helps ensure that newly enrolled English learners can access services even when schools are physically closed. This remote screener only provides preliminary information. Students will not receive an official screener score for placement in the English Learner Program. Once in-person screening is possible, students will still need to participate in the official K-WAPT or WIDA screener, regardless of their performance on the online remote screener. If you are in a situation where remote administration of any of the assessments we have discussed is necessary and available, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, students still need to access appropriate accommodations. Review their accessibility needs and plan ahead. There may be some students for whom you still need to set up in-person assessments to ensure that all students have an equal opportunity to participate. Second, try to test the technology beforehand. This will help you identify students who may need additional support based on internet connectivity challenges, a lack of internet-enabled devices, or software limitations. This will also help ensure that both you and the students are familiar with the testing platform. Third, pay attention to data security. Many of the assessments require the students to have login information that is personally identifiable. For example, if a student needs their state student ID to participate. Please be aware of student data privacy rules and identify ways in which you can directly and securely share this information with families, such as via a parent portal or over the phone. This type of information should never be posted on a classroom document. We have also released new resources to support the flexible administration of fall statewide assessments. These resources include an overview of assessment considerations aligned to the 3 reopening categories in the Idaho Back to School Framework, remote administration supplements, and parent and student guides for remote administration. These resources are available under the Assessment heading in the Student Learning section of the Fall 2020 Public Schools Reopening page, as well as in the Assessment and Accountability section of the SDE website. We are still working with vendors to explore options for assessments scheduled later in the year, and we will continue to share more information as soon as we have it. I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter and attend our monthly webinars. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the coordinators listed on this slide. We know this is a challenging time, and we want to support you as you administer these assessments. We're here to help. Thank you for listening.